John, first of all, I want to thank you for jumping on with very little notice. So you're kind of old like I am. So I knew if I texted you at 6 a.m., there was a chance you were going to respond rather quickly.
The funny thing is I actually slept in this morning. I'm usually up 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Jeez.
That's 7:30, 8 o'clock your time.
Yeah, the early bird catches the worm, right, John?
That's right.
So,
Absolutely.
John, so for those that don't know, we had a guest that was going to be on that canceled. So I reached out to John, and John is like, "Listen, I'm ready, man. I'm down. I am ready to do whatever's needed for the big show." So, so now we're gonna have to fill your spot, John, which is gonna be very hard shoes to fill, but we're gonna figure that out a couple weeks from now. But
I could put on a disguise or something, if you need.
John, what's funny is like I didn't really know you up until like recently, right? Because I had watched like your Instagram. I've always followed you, but we never really got a chance to chat and stuff. And I've gotten some really great opportunities to talk to you. Views After Dark was some recent fun we had on Views After Dark, but getting to know you, man. I mean, you're just as impressive as your hat collection. I just want to make sure you know that you hear that.
I appreciate that. That goes right back to you.
We're having a fun time, and guys like you are paved the way for some of these collectors now. And listen, I look up to you and your collection and what you kind of brought to the community. So, with that, now that I've buttered you up, I'd love to hear more about you.
Well, my name's John. I'm from Southern California. I live in the desert. That would be high desert area. I am this close to getting my application for my AARP card.
Ooh.
Yeah, you said that we're around the same age. I got a few years on you, Pierre, but
I'm older than I look.
I'm older than I feel. I'm good with that. I didn't start having kids until I had my first kid. I was 37. Oh, wow. And that's what I got 3 boys now, and they're all 10 and under. So they say, that's what keeps you young. And boy, they do a number on me for sure. So, but yeah, for the most part, I've lived in California my whole life. I had a stint in Wyoming. I got family in Wyoming. So I have an allegiance to that part of the country as well. Colorado, I'm a Rockies fan primarily. Yeah, I started collecting. Well, that's kind of a long story. My dad was a hat wearer. That's all I knew. I mean, my dad always had a hat. And so just being like a lot of kids would be, you want to be like your dad. And, my parents divorced, I was 4. So it was just me and my dad. And I really looked up to him. So he had a hat and he would give me hats. And, that's how it started with me. And I got my first fitted when I was 18 at an Angels game in Anaheim. And, that was in '89. That's where it started. I mean, I didn't get the hat and thought, oh, this is what I'm going to do for the next 30 plus years. It was the one. And and then as it got into the 90s, I just started picking them up here and there. I had a modest little collection, and I'd say by the time it got to be 96, 97, that's when I discovered the Starstruck catalog. Some of you old school guys will remember the Starstruck catalogs. And that's when I realized there was a whole world outside of what was available at your local store with your local teams. And I started snatching up a few, I don't want to say rare, but rare for local. And that's where it started, and then by the early 2000s, I probably had 100, 150, which was a lot.
Yeah.
And then I started going to more minor league games. That's the internet started up. And I wasn't even at that time, I wasn't even buying hats online. I was cold calling teams, just I'd get their information. A lot of them had game worn jerseys. I got about 150 major and minor league baseball jerseys.
Oh, John, hold on. Because I know Neil is watching right now. You need to calm down with the jersey talk. We don't need this guy fired up right now. He's in the comments already, man.
I don't have anything Philly. That's the Philly guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Neil, the jersey guy.
Yeah, I got nothing Philly though.
Oh man.
So, yeah. So sorry, Neil. But and at that time in the early 2000s, I wanted to have a jersey to go with every hat that I had. That was the goal.
Yeah.
And after a while, that kind of became not very cost effective. So then I just kind of went on with the hats and kind of let the jerseys go. I mean, I still have a lot of the jerseys, most of the ones that I had, but yeah. And then once we got into the 2010s and Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, here we are. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I get some of the nicknames that I have that I'm fond of. I get called the Godfather.
Yeah.
My recent favorite is Hat Gandalf, which I think Big Dave coined that one. Some days I feel like that, but so I feel I have a unique perspective in that I started off before this became a thing, even before I recognized it as a thing. I was doing it. I started looking for people who were like me, found a couple of guys, guys that we know to this day. I mean, found that there was actually a community around cap collecting. And then just to watch it over the last 8 to 10 years, especially, it's, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. And it's had its highs, it's had its lows. I've met a lot of amazing people, come across a lot of people that probably deserve to be punched in the face.
Yeah.
But definitely more of the good than the bad.
So John, if you could choose one of the three hosts here to punch in the face, which one would you choose? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I know the answer is me. So
John, I've taken quite a few punches to the face. You can hit me anytime.
That was in Lawrence, though.
No, it was all over the place, Pierre, not just Lawrence.
So John, just to kind of recap, right? So like your love really started, you were from a single parent home with your father, right? And he was a hat collector. Well, he always wore a hat, very similar to me, man, in terms of how I got connected to hats with my dad. I posted a picture a while back of my dad's hat wall. A little bit different than ours. It's pegs down in the basement where he would just put all his hats. And he had some fitteds and stuff. But I, just like you, I looked up to my dad and I kind of started collecting the same way. But then you went down this road where you really did pave the way in terms of kind of making this hat collecting thing a thing. Like I know there are other guys out there. There's some really old school guys out there that I see that have some leather sweatband caps they were collecting back in the day and whatnot. But you kind of brought it to the forefront in a lot of ways. And I know that led to something called the Crew Era 13, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you want to take us through that? Because I think that is something that's a story of legend. And I'd love if you could share that with the rest of the group here.
I'll preface it by saying, as events unfold, especially this year with COVID and everything, and you guys heard that New Era's laying off a bunch of people at the headquarters.
Yeah.
And that really, even though it's a continent, the other side of the continent from me, that really hurts because that experience and getting to meet some of those people, and particularly with Derby. I mean, I am so blessed that I got that experience because that'll never happen again. It's just, there's no more Derby. There's pretty soon, it's going to be, I don't know how low they're going to get with their their staffing, but you know, it's really sad, and I feel very fortunate that I got that experience. And you know, so going back to, go ahead.
You want to tell us what the experience was, like, just so everyone knows?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. So, you know, like I said, I had started posting stuff on Facebook and on Twitter, and you know, I'd had, it's funny, I actually had my first real big experience as a cap collector interacting with some of the companies, with some of the retailers. There was a lids competition, a Facebook competition, where they wanted to see who had the biggest collection, you know, and so I just posted a picture, and it's a picture that you can find on the internet. It's the one with where I have the it like goes over the door. It's on two walls, and I got some stuff on the door, and you know, that people have posted that picture claiming it to be theirs so many times it's left. So I posted that picture, and Lids messaged me, and they said, "You're the winner." It was like a $75 gift card. They said, "You're the winner, but we need a picture of you in front of the wall so we know that it's really you." So, you know, it's like 10:45 at night, you know, so you know, I'm in a t-shirt and, you know, shorts, and, you know, my bare ass white legs and everything. And then I have my wife take the picture, you know, I'm just like, whatever. Oh, and they fucking posted it, you know. So that was the picture they posted. And it was hilarious, because the things I got called, I mean, I got called old, I got called a virgin, I got called, I mean, you name it, I got called it from these people. You know, it's like, oh, he doesn't have a Yankees hat on the wall, he's not legit. Or, you know, oh, he can't decide on one team. If you don't have one team, you're not a real, you know, you're not a real fan. You know, he's just this and that.
Yeah.
I was dying. I was cracking up, laughing so hard reading these comments. And Liz actually messaged me and apologized.
Yeah.
And I was like, for what? And this is the best laugh I've had in years. You know, I'm cracking up. You know, this is amazing. You know, so so then a couple months later, I get an email, not an email, but I got a message from New Era, and they had just launched their new website. Whatever, I don't remember what the old website was, but they had just relaunched their website, and they were doing a collector's spotlight. And some of you know Angel, guy from Vegas. Like, I can't, his last name escapes me right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They'll
yes, yeah. And it's embarrassing that I can't think of it right now, because he's one of the oldest guys that I know. He was the first guy to be featured on it, and I was the second. So they did a little interview with me, and, you know, and I think I got a Seahawks cap out of it, a couple other little trinkets, you know, and I was like, wow, that's cool. You know, New Era's hooking me up. I'm on top of the world right now. You know, this is great. And then I had met Ben just through Twitter. So him and I kind of bonded and connected. And so we knew each other. And one morning in it was my anniversary. And I got an email. I woke up in the morning, checked my phone. I got an email from New Era, and they said, "Hey, we've been following your collection for a while now. We appreciate how you're promoting our product. We're putting together a fan experience, and we want to know if you're interested. All expenses paid. We'll fly you to Buffalo. We'll put you in a hotel. We got a thing we're putting together. Let us know." Well, I was on leave from my third kid, and I was due to be back the day after we flew out. Yeah, so I was like, shit, you know? So I had to call my boss, and I was real cool with my boss. And I was like, hey, look, just long story short, I'm doing this. So I'm supposed to be back Monday. I'll be back Wednesday. And, you know, he gave me his blessing. So yeah, so off I went. So they flew us out to Buffalo, and it was incredible. They put us up in a really nice hotel. The first night they took us out to, took us all out to dinner, got to meet the other guys. And, it was the first time that Ben and I had actually met face to face. The rest of us, none of us had even heard of each other. And we weren't all Twitter guys. Some of us were Twitter, some of us were Facebook, some of us were YouTube. So they had searched from a bunch of different areas to get us together, to get the 9 of us together. And, so once we had dinner and everything, they took us out. We bought, whatever, I don't remember, it was like a Rite Aid or something, whatever they have back there. That's like a, I don't know if they have, I don't remember if it was a Rite Aid or not, or if they even have Rite Aids back there. But, we bought beer, whatever. And the 9 of us went back to the hotel, went out in the little courtyard and just BS'd for, I don't know, it was like 1, 2 in the morning before somebody came out and said, hey, you guys gotta wrap it up. There's people trying to sleep. But, yeah, we were 9 fast friends,
That's awesome, man.
And we all agreed.
John, what was your biggest takeaway from that? So, because I know Leon's going to jump into the next phase of this, but what was your biggest takeaway from that trip and that experience?
The friendship mostly, and then like the next day, the day we actually got to do the tour, we got to go to Derby, we got to walk the plant, we got to see how they actually put the hats together. We got a design session. We actually got to sit with a designer, and we all got to design our own personal hats.
Wow.
Which was cool. Mine was, I got mine right here. I went, because I don't have a lot of Ottawa Senators hats. Well, I didn't at the time. So, so I made my own Senators hat. They had just done the Heritage jerseys. So I wanted something I could wear with the Heritage jersey. So I went with the shoulder patch and with the 20th anniversary side patch on it. So, but some of the guys went with some like crazy colorways, some crazy.
I bet the other 3 Ottawa Senator fans in the world like that hat too.
It's,
Ouch.
Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing on that right now. It's misery. But, it was just cool. Everything they did for us, it was just one thing after. It was a dream come true. It was like Willy Wonka land, It was just amazing. But 7 years on, it's the fact that those guys and we still, we may not talk a lot anymore, but I know that they're still friends. Yeah, we all have that shared experience.
Right. So, John, before I hand off to Leon, because I know Leon's got quite a few questions he wants to ask. He's been chomping at the bit. He looks as excited as I've ever seen him. So, he's fired up right now. It's like his watermelon hat club has just landed. But, but John, listen. So, I'd love to hear about this. So you were really prominent. Then you kind of went in, I don't know, man, you were kind of gone for a little bit. Now you're back. And I think better than ever. So tell us about that. What happened there?
You mean like just over the last year or so?
Yeah. You all of a sudden, now you're everywhere again, which I love.
I go through these phases. And I just feel like, I had my time. There's so many great collectors out there now. And it's like, I want to let people have their time. I don't want to be like with my face all up in the middle of everything, trying to be like, hey, look at me, remember me, look at my stuff, because I'm just not about that. And it's not like I'm trying to blow anybody off or just trying to shut it all down or anything like that. But, I have absolutely no problem, just passing the baton. I don't want to say like I'm out of the game or anything like that, but I enjoy the hell out of just laying back and watching I don't know if you want to say the next generation or whatnot, but you guys, and I put you in this group too, Pierre. You guys are doing things that we could only dream of doing. And I don't just mean with the volume of hats that you have. I just mean with what you're able to do, what you're able to accomplish. We didn't have back then. God damn, I really do sound like an old man. We didn't have.
Well, you did say earlier, then the internet came. So like, I just want to make sure that we're all clear. So you did kind of date yourself there.
This is true. Yeah. You know, but we didn't have the customs. We didn't have that. I mean, that was such a unique thing, you know, even 6 years ago. You know, people weren't, I mean, it was such a rare thing. I mean, you know, you had things like the clink room, and you had, you know, there were a couple of guys out there who were putting out customs, but these were guys who were somehow in the game. Like,
Yeah.
they were connected. And now anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You know, anybody can do it. And it's incredible. And, you know, I mean, I'd be lying if if there's times when I see stuff come up available for sale, and I look and I'm just like, man, you know, 10 years ago, I'd have been all over that.
Yeah.
I would have bought all of those. I would have bought, you know, and now it's like, I don't even try. And it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just, it's almost like I'm in a place in my life where it's like, I have to pick and choose my spots.
Yeah. You know, and I think, listen, I'm going to hand it off to Leon now, but I think what catapulted you from like collector to mentor is this ultimate hat collection that occurred in 2017. So I want to hand it off to Leon, but I truly believe that was a pivotal moment in your like journey from being a collector to now you're mentoring other collectors. You know, and I want Leon, if you could take it from here, that'd be great.
Yeah, so let's take it from 2017. Lids put out a contest. It was like an open roll call to all collectors to kind of try to enter. It was a brilliant play because it was a really cool way for them to get their name out there and get people hashtagging about lids and all that stuff. So you answered the call. You probably got one of the best hat walls out there. So you faced off against a couple people and you were the inaugural winner. So kind of just take us through the process of, you know, what kind of pictures you submitted, you know, who was the other finalists and what they gave you.
Man. You know, you're going to ask me to remember the other finalists, and I feel like I should know off the top of my head, but.
Well, they were number 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to say them by name, but I mean, you know, whoever was up there, I'm sure.
Someone will school me. I'll look at the comments that they'll identify themselves.
I'll since I put you on the spot, I'll look it up right now, but you kind of take us through, you know, your experience of, you know, entering the contest and that kind of stuff.
So see, it's my age talking here, you know, memory things. So I actually got a message from Lids. They messaged me and they said, "Hey, we're doing this. You need to enter." And I went, "Oh, sure. Okay. You know, that's cool. I'll definitely do it." So I went ahead and, you know, submitted some pics, did whatever they had asked me to do. And I was actually on vacation when I got the message back that said, "Hey, you've been selected as a finalist." And I thought, "Oh, that's cool. You know, that's really cool. What do I need to do now?" And they said, "Well, we need these pictures. We need you to send in this information." Well, I was in Wyoming at the time. And I was like, "Well, I don't have anything at my disposal right now. Can I get back to you in a couple of days?" And they said, "Yeah, just as quick as you can." So as soon as I got back, you know, I sent them everything they needed, and then they put it up on their website. They took one of the pictures that I sent of my wall and start voting, you know, and it was basically I think it was 2 weeks. It was basically just, you know, pimp yourself, put yourself out there. And so I did, you know, without trying to, you know, I don't like to be that guy that's like, you know, my shit's better than yours. You know, I've never been like that. So it was, but I posted, you know, just, I tried to get like really cool shots, pictures of my walls from different angles. And, you know, I had a couple, you know, where I had kind of just stacked some hats together. I have like my bags with I got my hats in here. I've got several of those. So I had unzipped those and I had made a little display, you know, so I took pictures of those just to say, you know, I've got hats everywhere. I've got hats falling out of my ears here, you know, and yeah, I mean that was pretty much it, and the cool thing is the other finalists. I know what my problem is, Leon, is I'm confusing the 2018 finalist with the 2017 finalists. So, but we were all super supportive of each other,
Yeah.
And
So
it wasn't
I found the names. So are you ready?
Yeah.
So Pierre's favorite Canadian, other than me, obviously, Mike Perry, the sandbagging son of a
Mike.
bitch.
Oh,
Yes.
that sandbagging son of a bitch
Yeah.
made an appearance back then too, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The cruiserweight, Mike Perry. And then we have Will Schul, who's
Will,
the
of course.
designer of the original Team Fitted logo.
Yes.
Big Dave.
Big Dave. That's right. Big Dave
How
was
can
one.
you forget that guy?
I know, right?
Right. And then Brandon Turner.
The funny thing about Big Dave, and Dave and I have talked about this, so I know he's not going to mind me saying this, but he had an experience that was very similar to the one I just talked about with lids and them posting that picture of me standing in front of my wall, back in 2012 or whatever it was, or 2011.
Oh, the no sleeves.
The no sleeves. And when that posted, I was like, because I didn't really know Dave at the time that well, and I was like, oh shit, let's see how he handles this, and he handled it, like Dave would handle it, it was real classy guy, but I had told him, I'm like, dude, I had a similar experience where, people were cracking on, how green his grass wasn't, the fact that he had a sleeveless shirt. I mean, it was funny, but at the same time, I was like, man, I know that feeling. I know what that feels like, but it was funny. But, we were all super supportive of each other. And if any of those other guys had won, I wouldn't have been upset. I wouldn't have bothered me at all,
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of I don't know, self-confidence to be able to handle some of those insults though, right? Like, and you and Big Dave do an excellent job, like kind of dishing it out, but you guys both do an excellent job of kind of taking it and like kind of almost like making fun of yourselves. It's like, it's just cool. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. But so I was sitting at work and I got the email and it said, congratulations, you won, and everyone in my office, they knew that I was entering. And so I stood up, I just went, oh my God, I won. And, it was funny because they all kind of cheered, and they're like, oh, that's really cool, and yeah. And, it was cool. So I got out of that. They sent me, they messaged me and they said, we're going to send you some hats. Do you have a favorite team? Well, they knew who my favorite team was, but they were like, what team do you want? And that was when the Ultimate Patch Collection was a thing. So I had most of the Rockies ones already. So I didn't want them to send me a bunch of stuff that I already had. So I just threw it on them. And I said, hey, dealer's choice, surprise me. So, so they sent me 4 hats. And I got 3 of them here. The 4th one was actually one that I did already have. So I went back into a lids. I have a buddy that works at a local lids, and I was like, hey, dude, so he let me swap it out for something else, sans receipt, but I'm not supposed to talk about that.
Oh.
But they sent me, oh man, I'm going to get this. I'm just going to get this one out of the way. They sent me this one. Yeah, I know, so, and it was cool because I had never seen this one before. So I liked this one so much. I went and I got the Rockies version. Cause I like that copper, the Rockies logo looks pretty cool with that metallic copper. I got the Mariners with the 30th anniversary patch, metallic silver visor. I'm a sucker for metallic silver. I love metallic silver.
I love those caps too.
I love the metallic.
And then I know this makes some people cringe just because, not because of the team, but because it's all white, that they sent me an all white Wrigley anniversary Cubs cap.
Oh, that's a cool patch.
So, this one was pretty cool. That's gray, by the way. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
So, And then of course I got my, we all got, for being finalists, we got these, mine says 4 of 5, and some of you guys might remember, was it 2019 when they had the dude with the Dodgers hats, the one that was like, he thought he got, I think because they had 8 finalists and he got 2 of 8. And so he thought he came in second.
I think that was Marin. Marin made the joke that she came in second.
Then okay, no, it definitely wasn't Marin.
No?
He was one of those the guys, the bad guys I was talking about, the guys that just think
okay, I know who you're talking about. I know
he's owed stuff.
Yeah, the duffel guy.
Yes, that guy. Yeah,
duffel bag gangster.
Yes, that guy.
Oh, is that the guy with all the hat club bags where he taped over them?
Used painter's tape. Yeah.
That was a really cool. That was a really cool move.
That was put a lot of thought into that.
I think he also paid the newscast, the local
news.
Over.
Yeah, it seems like every year, except for my year, it seems like every year there's that one person. Like 2018, it was AZ Mom.
Yeah, the hat mom or sport mom or whatever.
Oh man, that was terrible. And then I got my trophy. So I mean, for what it's worth, it's kind of cool that I was I like to say I'm the inaugural winner. I should get that stitched on here somewhere. 1 of 1.
There you go.
So it was pretty cool. And then they sent me, I got $400 gift card.
Jeez.
And and then I got to wear that crown for a year, of being that, I mean, and it's, I try to be as humble as I can, I'm always thinking about the other guy, I have a thing I always say, it doesn't matter how big your collection is, if you got 6 hats in your collection,
yeah,
I'm no better than you. If you love your 6 hats, then you're a collector in my book.
So John, can I ask a couple questions though in relation to that? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So does it feel good to just know that you beat Big Dave and you can throw it in his face at any time you want?
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm being, I know you're joking, but I mean, seriously, if he had won it, I think he would have been, I think he would have been just as humble about it, as anybody else. I mean, I know we're talking about Big Dave here.
Yeah,
but,
the same Big Dave, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
So who would you rather beat head to head, Big Dave or the duffel bag guy who hired the newscasters to come over to his home?
Man, I'm sorry. I got an allegiance to Big Dave, man. I that guy. Yeah, I don't know. That's just the way I am. And it's like, if somebody's picking on a friend of mine, I'm right away. I'm going to be against that guy. And, that's like what happened with AZ Mom. I tried to reach out to her and just be like, hey, that's cool. Your husband has all those hats, and no response, just nothing from her. And then she got all butthurt when everyone started piling on her. Why is everyone so mean? Because you're kind of yeah. But
so Marin's cleared up the story. She got the 2 of the 8, and when she posted it, the duffel bag gangster went and said she shouldn't be in second place. And
I see it. Yeah.
And Lids replied, "They're random." Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. No, but just to follow up on that, Pierre, it was really cool, like for that year, and it's not like I walked around bragging about it or anything, but so every once in a while I would just go, dang, out of everybody who collects, everybody who buys a hat, everybody who has hats, I'm the ultimate hat collector. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like I was bragging about it or anything, but just every once in a while it would be like, wow, they chose me, and it was a cool feeling. It was kind of validation for everything that I had done, which really, honestly, I had never asked for any of it, but it's kind of cool to, because I've never done anything super significant in my life. I'm not curing cancer or anything like that. I'm just a guy, I'm just somebody who has a modest life, and this is something that I can be proud of. No one can take it away from me.
What was the reaction from the hat community after you won? Was it positive, negative, mixed?
For everything I saw, everybody was very supportive, which made me happy, because that's exactly how I would have been had it gone any other way. Even if I hadn't been a finalist, I would have been 100% supportive of whoever it was. I just feel fortunate that I got to have that experience.
So I have a mini confession to make. I never voted for you when you were up to win.
What the?
Reason because I didn't know you back then, right? So I knew you were in Team Fitted. At the time, I think it was all Team Fitted guys that were in it anyway. Big Dave was shipping out of the port of Houston, so I split my votes between Big Dave and the only Canadian, Mike Perry. So I didn't vote for you. But to your credit, and unlike the past two winners, you took it upon yourself to be more active after you won. So I noticed right after you started posting way more on Instagram, and you started making videos.
Well, and I know that'll lead into the next thing, but Pierre, you had mentioned earlier, you had asked me about how I kind of sort of pulled back a little bit over the last year. I had actually started to pull back, kind of do that same thing in 2017. I had started posting less. I had I'd lost my job, my retail job. So I just kind of pulled back, kind of reevaluated a few things. And I thought, you know what, this thing has been fun, but I'm going to pull back. And then I got sucked back into it. And I kind of felt like I had an obligation almost, because I had been given this opportunity. And I thought I owe it to Lids. I owe it to the people who participated. I didn't want to be that guy who won and then just disappeared, so I did post more content. I did put myself out there. I did become more involved in Team Fitted, which is something I had dropped out of Team Fitted, because Team Fitted came out of Crew Era 13. You guys all know that, right? I mean, that's how it started. It was a byproduct of our experience in Buffalo. And, so I like to joke that I'm a charter member, but I didn't ask to be put into it. It was just one day. It's like, oh, hey, you're in Team Fitted, because they had put all of us who went, they had put us all in there. And, and then it kind of, that's a whole other discussion, because Team Fitted kind of went off the rails, and then, and so I just kind of disappeared for a while, and then I come back in, and all of a sudden there's a commissioner, and, there's rules, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I just kind of laid back for a little bit until I kind of figured out who everybody was. But I was like, yeah. I don't know if James is watching, but I was literally like, at first I was like, who the hell is this guy? This guy from, calling himself the commissioner. It was kind of funny, but no, I picked up on it real quick, and now they're all good guys. And then it went off again, and then they kind of, pulled back again, and it's, it is what it is now. But
that leads to another question, John. So you've been around for a while. You've seen the hat community kind of ebb and flow. Now, like, fast forward to today, and you see like things like FHS, a group like FHS that has like almost 7,000 members now. Like, how do you view the state of the hat community now?
It's unreal. And, like I said earlier, I mean, there are things that occur within the community now that were pretty much unimaginable, even 5 years ago. It's just, I mean, it's just a kind of, I know I like to sidetrack and stuff like that, but it's like how fitness will be a thing for a while. And then if you've been around it long enough, you see how styles change. Like, for a while, snapbacks was the thing, and so I'm not a snapback guy. I don't know if any of us are, or we would admit to it. But and then the trends that come through, somebody's been around to help me out, but for a while, and I want to say it was mid to late 2000s, the pop colors, that was a thing where you could get a Yankees hat in one of 78 different colors, wasn't my thing. It just, that wasn't my thing. But that was cool. I mean, I went to the thing where I was like, F snapbacks, if you wear snap, and then as I got a little bit older and I got a little bit wiser, I kind of thought, hey, if snapbacks is your thing, that's cool. I got no problem with it. And we're seeing that now. I think that the trend now with the icy blues and the pinks and the stuff like that. I mean, I know some of you guys will, sell out your firstborn to get those things, and I got nothing against it. It's not my thing.
Of course, but it all ebbs. It all goes in different directions, right? It's whatever each person appreciates. Like even the all over caps, right? Now you see all these caps with like each panel having something on it,
Right. But that's my broader point is that, whereas it kind of ebbed and flowed in ways that, you can kind of see it happening. There's so much going on right now. It's like there's something for everybody. The community is so big now. There's something for everybody to enjoy. And I think that's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So John, if there was any advice that you can give collectors out there, because you've had years of experience in collecting, you're in a place where you still have that impressive wall behind you, and I mean like just a lot of credibility, right? What would be your advice for collectors out there? Because I see in the comments there's guys like Ozzy and some folks that are relatively new to the collecting world. What advice would you give them?
If you love it, then go for it. If you have the means to. Something that's never sat well with me are the people who collect just for the sake of collecting, and I know I'm talking to somebody who, as appearance wise, has everything. It's like it seems like every time there's a drop, you get everything. So, but I don't consider, because I know your passion. Yeah. I know you're passionate, and that's the difference. But we have encountered people in the community before who collect just for the sake of saying, I have everything. I have more than you. Don't be that guy. Collect because you're passionate about it. Collect because you love the product, whether it's a team, whether it's a particular designer, whatever it is. I like to say that, and I always throw the number 6 around, but it's like if you have 6 hats, mm-hmm. and you have a story behind every one of those hats, like what, like I brought this one here. This is actually my very first. This is the one my dad bought me. So, I mean, you see how old that thing is. Mm-hmm. I got a story behind this hat. This hat means something to me. I love this hat. I can't wear it anymore, but if you have those 6 caps, and you can tell a story about why you love that cap, hey, you're a collector in my eyes. Your collection is as important to you as this here is behind these behind me are.
Yeah. So John,
just be true to yourself and be passionate about what you do. And
and one more piece of advice I want to know, John. I'm being kind of selfish here. A piece of advice for Leon and I in how to engage the smaller collector better, because at the end of the day, we've got a lot of big collectors, and you know what? Listen, I my passion for hats, you get all that, but I also don't want guys like Leon, myself, you, other people that have a ton of hats drowning out the collectors that have the smaller amounts of hats. So what advice would you give Leon and I to engaging those people?
Just be encouraging. I mean, you see the comments every once in a while. There's somebody that, they kind of pull the Charlie Brown, I got a rock routine, and it's like, I only got, 15 hats, I'm not in your league. And it's like, no, man, you are. Yeah. You are. There's a reason you're here. There's a reason you're in this group. There's a reason you're engaging with us right now. Just because you don't have, 4-digit number of caps doesn't make you any less than anybody else in here. And it's just be encouraging, just make them feel like they're a part of the group. Yeah. And that's the best advice. That's what I've always tried to do.
That's awesome, John. So I want to see, I want to turn it over to Jason and see, Jason, were there any questions that stood out?
Actually, no, just a lot of love for John. You know, the godfather of collecting. Everybody, everybody that's in the collecting community, hat community, knows about your wall. Love your wall. If you have some questions about, you know, so where do you get the bins? How did you build the wall? And maybe we'll get into that. But no, just a lot of love. I do have a question though.
Appreciate it.
Back when you know you started posting to Facebook and Twitter, well, not early 2000s, those weren't around then, but
Around
yeah,
2010
around 2010.
when I started. Yeah.
Were you able to find many other collectors that way, or was it you were kind of in a vacuum until, you know, later on when Crew Era came around and Lids was kind of connecting you guys together?
There weren't. I mean, there was no Team Fitted. There were no hat groups. There was nothing like that. And you know, I found one guy, and then he introduced me to another guy, and all of a sudden there's three of us. And it's like, cool, okay, that's cool. So there are people out there that have crazy hat collections or have the passion. And then, you know, through those guys, we found out there are other guys. And then now there's a half dozen of us who are aware of each other, you know. And it's not to say there weren't people. I know people who have been collecting as long, if not longer than I have. We just weren't aware of each other. But as we kind of started to network, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew, you know, and like I said earlier, it's been wild to watch it, to just kind of watch it unfold over the last 10 years. But yeah, it started off really small, you know.
Yeah.
So what made you keep posting, even though maybe you didn't see other people doing it or getting much feedback from it? What made you keep wanting to do that? You know, even if you were in a vacuum per se.
It's just the passion, just the love I had for it. You know, I don't really collect a lot of stuff. I don't have, you know, I'm not fond of posting pictures of my food, you know, or anything like that. It's just, that's what I love. And at that time, I think the only thing, you know, especially on Twitter, you know, I would post a hat and I would tag the team, you know, like, hey, look what I have, you know. And if I got a like by the team or something like that, it was like, oh, cool, you know, they liked what I posted. They recognized that I posted this, and that was kind of a cool little thrill.
Yeah.
You know.
So John, before we wrap up, right, because we're about to hit an hour here, I have one last question for you.
Sure.
Before Leon does his traditional take us out. So if Lids calls you today and says, I need you to take your picture in front of the hat wall, what outfit are you wearing?
Oh God, that's a tough one. I mean, I thought all day about what I was going to wear today for this, and I had about 20 different combinations in mind. I just decided to go with you know, with the hometown stuff here, but it would probably be something major league, probably something Rockies.
Okay.
Just because that's my team. If not Rockies, I do have a couple of Expos jerseys. You can never go wrong with the Expos.
Wow.
Never go wrong with the Expos.
Classic.
There you go. Yep, you can never go wrong.
So
I like to say, why is it's like written on a mountain somewhere. You know, it should be one of the commandments. You know, you can never have enough Expos hats.
Well, listen, John, this has been such a great conversation. And I think, like, every time I get a chance to talk to you or hear some of the stories pre-internet and post-internet, I just get more inspired every time. So, you know, what I love most, John, is just the plethora of experience you have and the fact that you're so willing to teach others and mentor others. So I want to thank you for what you do for the hat community day in and day out. And listen, I understand the humility. You are a humble guy, but I also want you to know that we need you in the hat community. People like you that are humble, that can teach others and help others kind of see the way and figure out some of these little nuances. So I don't want you to go on another hiatus, but that's just me. I mean, that's how
I appreciate that. No, I like the direction that the group is going. I like what you guys are doing with the FHS. I know it was kind of a rocky beginning between Team Fitted and them, but it's. I mean, that's like first thing I do in the morning. I get up, make my coffee, and sit there and kind of scroll through what went on for the last 8-10 hours in FHS, just see what people
it shouldn't be it shouldn't be divisive, John, right? It should be us, the hack community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's just how it should be. So listen, again, I want to thank you on behalf of everybody for jumping on with us, taking us through all of those different points in your journey. And it was amazing to hear. Thank you. And thank you for all you do.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, we're going to have you on again. So just be prepared.
Anytime. Just somebody take note of the stories I told, because I will repeat the same if you let me.
That's okay. We'll let you.
I can listen to them all day, John.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
So Leon,
my wife can't.
So Leon, what's that? Go ahead, John.
She's outside. I'm sure outside right now, complaining that I'm yelling.
Oh man. Well, she'll get over it. So in customary fashion, John, we always have Leon take us away because he is the hypest hype man on the face of the earth. So we're gonna go.
Yeah, he is.
Take us away.
Well, yeah. So just want to make sure that we thank you. You have had a tremendous impact on me, at least. You used to have your TFTV show. For those who don't know, you can search that up on YouTube and check out John's Interstate 19 report. A lot of our current programming is based on a lot of the influence and me missing the TFTV stuff. So it forced me to do it. And then I found a crazy couple partners to join me on the journey. So if you guys ever want to, look into the archives, check out John's old show. We'd love to have you guys back and some of the other guys back too. So join us on Wednesday. We will be back for Views 13. We'll be back on Wednesday at 9. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment, and we will catch you guys soon. Stay fitted.